What's up, boys? So my favorite openers on dating apps, they always have two properties. Number one property is that they are generic copy and paste openers for obvious reasons. And two, they are what I call curiosity-based openers, meaning with these openers, you evoke her curiosity. So you can say something like, that smirky, almost devious smile that you make says a lot about you. Or if you want to get really crazy, you could try something like, hey, I think I saw you the other day. Now, the point of these is pretty obvious. It's to pique her curiosity. You have left her with a cliffhanger, like the end of a drama, like the end of the episode, the most dramatic thing happens, and her curiosity is going to make her want to respond more, much like your curiosity at the end of a cliffhanger episode of Netflix makes you want to see the next episode. So when you say that line about the smirky, the devilish smile, she thinks, oh my God, like, why does he say that? What does that say about me? Or, why does he think that my smile is like kind of, smirky and devious? It's also a very like flirtatious thing to say that she's kind of like almost got like a devious smile. And she's like, yeah, what does that mean about me? What does he think? Or, why does he think that? And then certainly if you go with the line, hey, I think I saw you the other day. Well, that is, if a girl doesn't respond to that, then she wasn't going to respond to anything you said no matter what. Now, stay tuned because in a bit, as good as those openers were, I'm going to reveal my favorite curiosity-based opener of all time. Okay, this is the exact opener that I use for every single girl. And of all the openers that I have tested, this one had by far the highest response rate. So no gatekeeping here. I'm going to give that away in a bit. But first, I want to explain the reason why I like these type of openers. One, like I said, there's the two properties, right? They're curiosity-based and they are copy and paste. I really, really like copy and paste openers for dating apps and, Instagram as well sometimes, unless you think of now, I want to say one thing. If you have the most just perfect, unique thing to say, just say it, right? But, don't be bound by these rules. But no matter what on a dating app or for a hot girl on Instagram, especially the more beautiful they are, they're going to not reply or give a one-word answer or flake or ghost you. Most of the time, they just won't reply no matter who you are. Again, if you're matching with beautiful girls, that's the 4s and 5s that tend to be more responsive, right? But we don't want those girls. That is not what this channel is about. We want to get away from the Lizzos, okay? Now, if you're putting the time and energy to be creative and off the cuff and you got a new match and you're snapping screenshots and you're putting it in the group chat for the boys and say, hey, I just matched with this girl, boys. First of all, your chum friends don't know what the fuck to say, okay, unless they watch my shit. Second of all, it's a waste of time because they're not going to respond anyway 99% of the time. And two, your only point of the first message is to get her to do a second message. Your only point of the third message is to get the fourth and so on and so forth. And when you use curiosity as your hook, as your first message, it's the best way to get a response and get her to start investing in the conversation, right? It's kind of like people, what's a random analogy? Maybe like smokers or people who hit the vape. They're like, oh, I'm just going to hit the vape once. Or like if you don't vape, but you borrow, like I will never hit a vape ever again. By the way, vaping is like retarded. But like, back in the day, I'd be like, hey, let me hit your vape. And you hit one, you think you're just going to hit one, but then you want another hit, you want another hit, you want another hit. That's kind of how the conversation goes. She's like, if you come off the bat like, hey, we're going to have a long, conversation, it's going to spook her, right? But the goal is like you get her responding. And then before you know it, she's invested a lot of time in getting to know you. A lot of rapport has been built up. You showed off your personality and she's more interested. And I said this before, but I just want to emphasize this again. Use your fucking instincts. If a girl has the most perfect Hinge prompt ever that you can relate to, it, something about how she loves to dance salsa and you're a salsa instructor, go with that. You don't need to use the curiosity-based opener, although you certainly could. Speaking of these curiosity-based openers, are you ready for it? As promised, I'm about to reveal the best copy and paste curiosity-based opener I've ever used and gets me, at least for me, the highest percent chance of reply, which is, hey, looks like we have two things in common. That's it. Or I could say, hey, it looks like we have a few things in common. Now, this begs the question, what do I say when she actually replies? You always want to make conversation based on her profile content anyway, her images, her prompts. If this is Instagram, her photos as well. Again, her images or her photos. her stories, the ones she has live on her, her 24-hour stories, and her, what's called like featured, like the story, like the permanent stories. I think they're called your featured stories, right? The ones that are permanent. And you want to base this on commonality. So if there's something about travel, if there's something about entrepreneurship, right? So an example of this, like, well, what I would use is I go, hey, looks like we have two things in common. She goes, they always say, what? Like, what are they? What would those be? I say, we both like working out and we both like travel, or we both speak English and Spanish. Or sometimes I go, it looks like we both like working out and we both like English or we both speak English and Spanish and Portuguese, and we're both, sexy people. So I guess it's a lot more than just two things we have in common, eh? Something like that. It could be anything. We both have cute dogs and we both like to cook, anything. And if you really, really can't think of anything at all, just say, hey, we both live in Denver and we're both sexy. Although it is better if you come up with genuine things that you do have in common, because what you say after the opener is extremely important, okay? So, because right after the opener, now is the time that we're going to make a connection. And this will be actually the second most important message that we send her. So like I said, the best way to build a connection is based off of the stuff she has on her profile. So, with this curiosity-based opener, if you're going with mine, right, which is, looks like we have a few things in common, right? And then it was like, the working out or entrepreneurship. Whether you're stealing my line or not, or whether you use a different curiosity-based opener, you're like, I think, try that one. Let me know how it goes in the comments. Try, hey, I think I saw you the other day. And then, it could be based on anything that she does, or a story highlight that she had, or if she works out, like, were you at this gym? Or I noticed you own a beauty salon. I drove by it. Is it this, beauty salon on 3rd Street? Whatever excuse you can make of it if you use that line. But the point being, whether it was a curiosity-based opener of saying you have a few things in common, or whether you just use any other opener, you want to transition it into now talking about her content. So do you notice that she works out a lot? Do you notice she has a business? Does she sing? Does she use yoga? You want to talk about these things because, number one, it's going to be very easy for her to talk about. She's going to want to talk about her passions and her accomplishments and what she likes to do, what she's interested in. And it's going to build a connection between the two of you in the first place. And this is why when you're on a dating app, you want to actually take it to Instagram as quickly as possible, because you'll get a lot more inspiration. Sometimes on a dating app, especially, Hinge has the prompts, which help, facilitate conversation a lot. But even sometimes the prompts are, it's like, she's like, change my opinion about men. And there's like, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. There's no really, correct answer to answer that prompt without, kind of like qualifying yourself. But anyway, you want to get on Instagram because you have the stories, you have the reels, and you have all the other content to make conversation on. And right after the opener, that's what you want to talk about to build a connection with her. And it'll just make it easy. She'll just open up about it. She'll start telling you stuff. You can get off from one tangent to the next. And it always, makes for the easiest conversation. That's what a lot of guys run into, right? It's like they're kind of blank and they don't know what to say. But, the first thing in all this, before we worry about openers, is you must get matches, and I actually created a free guide called the Dirty Guide to Getting Matches. I call it my Dirty Guide because it involves what some might say a lot of dirty tricks using AI to make yourself better looking, hacks to keep your profile at the top of the algorithm without spending a lot of money. It's like, my hack isn't buy a bunch of super likes. No, cheaper hacks or free hacks to stay at the top of the algorithm, and a lot of other dirty tricks. So go to my Instagram, which is redbeardrans1, and message me the word dirty. Just one word, dirty. Don't say dirty, by the way, I like your video. No, just one word, just the word dirty, and I will send you the dirty match guide for free. All right, guys, try these openers. Try the, feels like we have a few things in common. And please, somebody in the comments, please tell me what result you're getting with, hey, I think I saw you the other day. I'm sure that one would get a high response. I'm just not sure, where to take it from there, how it would go afterwards. But fuck it. I'm going to try that one too. And I will report back in future videos. All right, boys, that's all for today. Peace.